Number one, go somewhere where nobody knows you. You don't have to get up and move halfway across the country like I did. You can literally just walk or like take the bus or drive, whatever, to the other side of the city you live in, or like to a different city, or like even just a part you never usually go to. Go to an establishment, cafe, shop, you or just walk around, try and get yourself interacting with people. By removing the consequences of what if I meet this person again, what if I leave a bad impression, then I gotta talk to this person again. It removes such a big mental barrier. You can have the most horrendous, embarrassing fumble of your life trying to have a conversation with someone who's just not having a good day, and it's fine. You never have to see that person again. You never have to go there again. It's honestly the mental barrier this takes away is absolutely astounding. What was a really big deal for me growing up, I know it was very irrational, but as a kid, as a young teenager, I'll be out and about. I'll be thinking, oh, what if I bump into someone from school? What if I whatever? If you just go somewhere where nobody knows you, this is not a problem. This tip literally removes the what's the worst that can happen mindset. What's the worst that can happen? You embarrass yourself, you move on, you never see that person again. Boom, done. I'm not saying you have to uproot your life and move to a different city or country, whatever. With me personally, moving all the way from Newcastle to London for university, I was able to rebrand myself. No one there knows who I am. No one knows my personality. If I want to come across as more sociable than I actually am, I'm just going to do that. And I did do that, and here I am. Now, if you ask anyone who I've hung out with for the past 4 years at uni what I'm like as a person, they'll probably say extroverted, sociable, confident, loves to going out and just meeting people. Whereas if you ask someone who I went to secondary school with for the whatever, 11, 12, I don't know however many years, they'd say I was like the kind of like shyer, more quiet, nerdy, reserved kid who's not really that outgoing. You can just straight up rebrand yourself if you go somewhere no one knows you. There are no consequences. Number two, have default phrases ready for any situation. If you're having a conversation, you need to have some like set phrases that you can like rinse and repeat and recycle so that you can use them anytime you want. I'll give you some examples that I have. For example, if I'm in some kind of situation or conversation and I don't know what to say and I just want to like leave and move on, I always go to either, anyways, I'll let you get on with your day. This is you like telling them like, oh, I'm letting you leave the conversation even though I'm leaving the conversation. For example, that's one of them. Another one is if I'm just trying to like approach someone to like ask them for something or like maybe to film a video in public like the street interviews I do, or literally just to like start a conversation with anyone in public. Sorry to bother you. If you start off with an apology, you already seem like such a sincere and honest person that, they'd feel bad to say no, right? Sorry to bother you. Oh, excuse me, I'm really sorry to bother you. Oh, I'm sorry to take time out of your day, blah, blah, blah. If someone comes up to me and says, hey, yo, what, you want to be in a video, yeah? I'll be like, I don't know, man, who are you? But someone's like, yo, sorry to take your time on that. I know you're probably real busy, but if you have like 30 seconds, I don't know why I turned into a London roadman, but I'm a lot more inclined to go with the more polite, like, they're respecting my time as you should respect other people's time. Number three, awkwardness is not real. This is going to sound crazy because obviously, you felt awkward before. Like if you're in like a lift with a stranger, it can be like awkward or like someone says the wrong thing at the wrong time. It can make things like awkward. Awkwardness isn't real. Just obviously you could say that about like any emotion, whatever, but it is all in your head. You perceive awkwardness as awkwardness, but like if you just were to address the thing making things awkward, like say the things that are being left unsaid in a situation, it can make something a lot less awkward. Or like for example, one time I was at a checkout, I was trying to carry everything, and like I dropped everything on the floor. Like yeah, it would have been like awkward, embarrassing, but I was just like, I can't remember what I said. I was like, oh, look at me thinking I could carry all that or something like that. And then like people laughed or whatever. I don't know. Just this kind of thing. Just like address the thing making things awkward in like a kind of tactful, funny way. And it'll be fine. Number four, be humble. Confidence and arrogance are two completely different things. People want to talk to other people who are open and receptive. Be polite, have basic manners, that will get you further than like 95% of other random advice out there. Don't be arrogant, don't have an ego. No one likes talking to someone who thinks they're a know-it-all. Trust me, I was that kid back in school. And then I went to Imperial and met people 10 times worse than myself. So that's kind of how I ended out with myself. Number five, if you want some actionable ways to actually improve day to day, set tangible goals. For example, in the morning, if you're like walking to work or like walking to school anywhere, see if you can say good morning to a couple of people. Or if where you live doesn't really have that kind of vibe, I don't know. Maybe in the gym, tap someone on the shoulder, say that like, oh, they're like mega strong, they're making crazy progress. You want to be like them someday. That can literally never go wrong. So things like, actually, Moving on to point 6. Learn how to give compliments. Don't be creepy. There's a saying that the only difference between creepiness and confidence is how attractive you are. I don't know if that's true, but you're better off not trying to overcompensate by saying inappropriate things. Things that are okay to say to someone, man, I love your energy, I love your vibe, you're really fun to be around, I love your style, this kind of thing. Things you should probably avoid if you're trying to compliment someone you don't really know that well. Things that they can't really control, or like their appearance. I mean, to an extent you can. Or like anything you don't really know the full story behind. Don't bombard someone with confidence either. It puts them on like a weird pedestal and creates a strange dynamic between you two. And please, 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 if you're a man, just err on the side of caution if you're trying to start a conversation with a woman. Unfortunately, over the millennia of human history, society's transgressed to a point where women may and often should be overly wary or fearful of unknown men trying to talk to them. Don't take this to heart, just be one of the good guys. Number 7, say yes to as many opportunities as you can. Even if in the moment you might not really feel like it, say like being invited to some like event or like party or whatever, like, oh, do you want me to like get you in touch with this person, and you're like, oh no, I don't really fit. Just say yes. Leave the doors open. You can close them whenever you want, right? Just open the doors. The more doors you open, the more people are behind them. You can end up with an entire new friend group. You can end up meeting the future love of your life. Anything can happen if you just pursue opportunities that are presented to you. Number 8, be ambitious. The more you try to aim as high as you can in life, the more productive you feel, the more proud, the more of a sense of self and fulfillment you'll feel. And not only that, but the more like-minded people you'll surround yourself with. If I hadn't been so ambitious to apply to a top tier university to get into Imperial College London, I wouldn't have the friends I have now. I wouldn't be surrounded by like-minded people in my friend group who are just as intellectually ambitious and curious and, overall just incredible people that I've met. Same here in Poland. I did an internship a couple of years ago at a startup company called Paragraph. Incredible opportunity. It was fantastic. Great people, great research, really exciting. Watch that company. It's going to go big. Almost everyone there had a PhD, like it's normal. Back where I'm from, like even like not even South Shields, but Bangladesh, right? PhD is unheard of. It's like the upper echelon of society has PhDs. That's like where you've made it in life. That's like dream career goal. And here I am in Paragraph, and everyone around me, entire floor filled with PhD holders. It was unbelievably mind blowing. Like the fact that I was surrounded by such an environment, it was like it broke my mind when I first got there. And just being in academia at all, even in Imperial, seeing like I'm like in a building surrounded by like hundreds of PhD holders, professors, lecturers, everyone. The more ambitious you are, the more your circle grows with that ambition. It's incredible. Number 9, exercise, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's running, whether it's anything. If you get your body physically moving, right, then you feel like there's a spring in your step. It gives you energy, right? And the more energy you have, like physically, the better you feel physically. The more of that energy you could put out with like body language, gestures. If you're feeling a bit like you didn't get much sleep, you haven't like exercised in a few days, just a bit tired, you kind of like relying on coffee just to like barely function. Kind of no one really wants to like be around you. You kind of like taking in energy from other people instead of giving it out, instead of like having that kind of like bright, that like jubilance, if that's a word, that kind of like, that verve. I'm using words I don't know the meaning of. And also, the better you feel physically, the more confident you will feel. After I've been to the gym, I feel like I'm on top of the world. I feel like I'm like the biggest man in the world. Obviously, I'm not. I'm still like pretty weak and like whatever. But just getting your body moving, pushing some weight or going on a run, whatever, having accomplished something physically gives you confidence. If you haven't exercised in a while, or like you don't really exercise much and you want to feel more confident, give it a try. I promise it will make a difference. Number 10, learn how to listen. If someone is talking to you, right? Yes, you can have your set phrases to drop in here and there, which I was talking about earlier, right? But also, it's a conversation, right? It's back and forth. If you really listen to what the other person says, that sets you right up for your response. If you're the kind of person who doesn't really know what to say in conversations or how to respond, if you just like try to like be a bit more receptive to what the other person's saying. Now, if you know me in real life, you know, like, I'm pretty terrible at listening sometimes. Sometimes I'm just deaf. But in terms of conversation, what I'm saying is, if you're more receptive to the other person, oh, it's a bit dark out, the lighting's getting worse. If you're perceptive to what the other person is saying, you're inquisitive, you ask questions, and like you lead down into a route of conversation you might not have opened up with that person otherwise. You reach new levels of conversation. Number 11, have some actionable outcome often, sometimes, if you want to. At the end of a conversation, if your aim is to like make new contacts and friends, just say at the end, oh, by the way, do you have like a WhatsApp or Instagram or like Snapchat, anything, whatever you use? Like, I'd love to keep in touch with you, or like we could like always hang out or like do whatever one day. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to hang out with this person. But if you know, are feeling the energy of that person and like, you're getting on, what's wrong with having a few text conversations? If it dies out, it dies out. If you don't end up liking the person, that's fine. That's completely okay. Or like invite them to like study with you if you're like in school or uni or whatever, or like ask them what they're doing later after the conversation and then like join them, or like ask them if it's okay to join. The amount of times that I've just like improved friendships, for example, university, by bumping into someone, being like, oh, by the way, what you up to now? And more often than not, people aren't really doing much. Everyone always seems really busy. Everyone's doing things around you, but more often than not, people aren't really up to much. I would bump into someone who I haven't seen in a couple of weeks. I'd be like, oh, by the way, what you up to over the next like few hours? They'd be like, I was just gonna revise, grab a bite to eat. Oh, do you mind if I join you? But you don't want to trap them in thinking they have to say yes. This is another one of those like selected, preloaded phrases that I like to use. Like, oh, do you mind if I join you? By the way, like, no worries if not. I also like have other things to do, blah blah blah. Like, if you'd rather be on your own. So like if I give them the option, oh, if you'd rather be on your own, if you'd rather do this, if you'd rather do that, no pressure at all, no worries, I understand. A lot of times I like to do work on my own as well, blah, 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 blah. Give them the space to decline, but also, usually they're probably going to say, yeah, what's the worst that can happen? And finally, number 12, we're at the end. That's right. Be the glue. Too many people gatekeep these days. Too many people stick themselves. Be the glue. Bring people together. Something that I like to do, something that I did at the start of first year in university, which actually like formed the friend group, my main friend group in university that I'm in for the next 4 years. And we've been, super tight and super close ever since. Something that I've did 2 months after coming to Poland here, gathering everyone who I knew, is to basically just gather people from different avenues of your life who might not have known about each other otherwise, and get everyone together. Like, host something at your place, like host dinner, like go out somewhere, like suggest a restaurant. Connect people. By connecting other people to each other, you've now transcended above the trying to be like more social and outgoing. You've made other people be more social and outgoing. I think that's like the upper echelon, the top tier of trying to go on this journey of more confident, more social, more outgoing. And I personally love doing this. It forms deeper connections, it enriches friendships. If you made it to the end, congratulations. If you put these steps into action, even some of them, even one of them, I guarantee you'll start feeling more confident. The fact that you've watched this video means that you already are in the mindset of trying to improve. And if you're in that mindset already, you've done a lot of the hard work, honestly. Imagining yourself to be the person who you want to be, and kind of like, I know it's cringe, like trying to like manifest it almost to like actually become real, but fake it till you make it thing. It works, it works. If you convince yourself you can be sociable, you can be outgoing, you can be confident, then you will be. You might think you're a type of person, and you may well be a type of person who, isn't very confident, isn't very sociable, whatever, whatever. But you can always change that. I firmly, firmly believe you can always, always change that. And this video will hopefully help you do that. So yeah, thank you very much. Um, it's got a lot darker outside. The lighting was way better at the start of this video. I do sincerely apologize.